Hi there, Christoph here. I wanted to give another update on assumeUTXO. There is a video about this flow from some time back, but this is kind of the same, but a little bit with refinement in some of the recent conversations. So I'll just go from the beginning and just kind of make comments. So the first time people encounter assumeUTXO in the current state is in the onboarding. We have a sequence of flows that people go to where they're informed about key features of the application, then pick if they're pruned or want to do full node, some basic things like that. And then before the initial download, because it is such a big, long endeavor, we tell them like what's about to happen. And in here in the screen, there are options. And that is where it is tucked away. That's where we have this load snapshot feature here. And then they can choose whether they want to do that or not. Alternatively, later on in the app, at some other time, often the IBD might still be happening, or it might be done. Let's say this is a scenario where IBD is done. I'm in the app, I have my wallet, I have Bitcoin. I go to settings, I can go to connection settings, and then I have the create snapshot feature here. So basically this settings screen here is available in two different navigation scenarios, one during the onboarding and then second time later on in the application. Pretty much the same features, just a different title. And you can see there's always one item here that represents the snapshot feature with the current state and the currently available option. So I'll just show those real quick. Here are all the different states. So initially I can load a snapshot. Then it is loading a snapshot, 12% done. Then it starts verifying the snapshot, and then it's verified. I'll come back to this green checkbox here. Then later on, I can create a snapshot. It can be not available with current settings, or it can be available, right? But I will see the details once I click in. Or I am creating a snapshot, percentage, and a snapshot created. The green check mark is just a confirmation, and it goes away once I enter this detailed screen. More on that a little bit later. So, so let's say scenario is I want to load a snapshot. I get to this screen here. This is another one of those template screens. You see various variations of this one, always with an icon, title, text, one or two buttons, and potentially just a little bit of information below. But they're all the same template. So I can load a snapshot, I choose my snapshot file, it starts loading, I can cancel it, I can see the progress, it tells me I can go away to something else. Then it is loaded, I get the confirmation, it tells me what was in here and then what will happen next. I can press done, I can remove the snapshot file probably, which is probably going to delete it from my hard drive. And this view details is closed by default, but anyone with a little bit of technical understanding or so, they can go in and see that information if they want to. So now it starts again in the download option. So it's verifying the snapshot. I see the progress. I can click in. I can see the progress there if I want. Also, when I'm in the application, in this our block status screen, which is always available. I also have a little bit of extra piece of information here that always, if there's anything going on with assumeUTXO, it shows me this current status here. And there's also, if I'm on other screens, I can see this little bar here on the tooltip. So that's wherever I am, it's kind of important for me to be aware that there's something happening with the blockchain, with the blocks, and verification and snapshot. I'm aware of it. And I can click it to see details. Here, the snapshot's verified. I click it, then it takes me into the settings, into this page, and then snapshot verified, done. If I were to go to settings here, that's when I would see snapshot verified. This one here, and then with the green checkbox. And then once I've seen this screen, then basically the process is over, right? So next time I go to the settings, I'm not going to see the checkbox again. Then it's like, okay, create snapshot, or still syncing, can't create snapshot right now, something else. But that's kind of entering the screen as the toggle, like process done, we can move on with life. Then snapshot creation. So after, when I'm all up to date, I can create a snapshot. use the info. In the text, generally, we try to avoid terms like blockchain or syncing or that type of stuff, and just give very simple descriptions like it's the current state of transactions, right? Something like that. Then, here's not, this is not the generations available once the initial block download is complete. Now it is complete, button gets enabled. I'm creating it. I do something else. Snapshot's being created. Same. Snapshot is created. I can view details. It tells me snapshot's created. This is what I can do it with. I can view the file. I can create another one if I want to. I can see the details. At some point later, I get here again, and then I can access my snapshot folder. So if I want to create, if the application knows I've previously created one, I can go there and see my snapshots. Then this is a simple state. I create snapshot. It tells me not available with current settings. Oh no. I can click in there, and then tells me generally what creating a snapshot is, because I might not know that. And then why it's not available to the current settings. If I want to use this feature, this is what I need to do. Like, it doesn't just tell me why it's not working, it tells me what I need to do. And then it lets me get to that place quickly to make the necessary adjustments. If something goes wrong, like snapshot verification error, we have a simple screen that says, and this is not a helpful message here probably, little X message, could not be verified, there was a problem, please try a different file. I'm not sure what the other options are. We can figure that out. I'm not sure also what the different reasons could be that it could not be verified or loaded or created. But this is just our general purpose error screen. Okay, so you can kind of see we're touching these are kind of the screens we're touching in this initial download during onboarding. Then we have this connection settings, download options screen, also during onboarding and later in the application. We have this kind of screen template that always shows, you're loading, you're creating, it's verifying stuff. And then we have these elements here in the block status and in the navigation bar. And we have all of these different states here. So there was some discussion in the pull request for the implementation of this. There was some feedback on this copy here, which I adjusted. The previous copy was all transactions until, which is not accurate. It's only the unspent ones. I tweaked that. And then I also had a conversation with Yashrash about whether we should always have two items here in this screen, load and create, and it's just either one is always disabled. I pushed a little bit more to keep it just one. There's one item here that represents this whole feature. You can only do one thing at a time or nothing if it's disabled. You can always click in, and then you see whatever is the most appropriate information for you at that moment. And then it is really up to the copy just to be clear, to inform the user very concisely and with just the information that they need. So I hope that is a helpful update and summary, and then hopefully nothing is in the way of implementation and getting this out the door. So thanks for tuning in.